All right.
Okay, good evening once more. Today we are going to
Good
continue
evening,
with
sir.
the good evening, Mr. Gandhi. Okay, we are going to continue with our Excel program, beginners course. And today we are going to be looking at day 5. And we'll look at inserting charts, how to work with autofill, customizing your own autofill, sorting data, and using filters in Excel. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen. Okay, this is what we were working on yesterday. So we're going to be using this. I'll be using this to demonstrate that. Okay, so how do you insert charts in Excel? First of all, what are charts? Charts is just another way of displaying your information or your data in Excel. Okay, so for you to work with charts, you have to come under the insert tab here. Then you find a group here, which is labeled what? Charts. Okay, yeah, so this is where you come to when you want to work with what? With charts. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and like create a simple chart of this list. So for you to work with charts first, the first thing you have to do is have to select the information that you have to fill. Now charts are in two axes. You have the X and the Y axis. Okay, so you need to have two sets of information to display in your charts. So we are going to have for the chart that we will bring in is going to display this information and then also the information that we have in what January. So I'm just going to go ahead and I select this. So first you select what the information which you want to display on the chart. So I select this, then I hold down the control key, then I select the values which I want to appear. So here I'm working with January. So here we go. I'm gonna come under insert and I'm just gonna take recommended charts. Okay. It's saying the recommended chart is not available for this data. Okay, so I think let's select a different set of data. Let's say excluding the totals. Yes, just the countries. This, okay, so we do that again. Oh, mm, okay, let's do this again. This, okay. All right, so since the recommended charts are not coming in, we're going to manually do that. Okay, so in here, under all charts, you have different set types of charts. You have the column chart, you got the line, the pie, the bar, the area, and all these that you see here. These are all charts that you can work with. So let's just use a column chart for this example. Say this, select OK. All right, so this is a column chart, and well, it appears our values here, they are not really properly formatted. So that is why we are not having them displayed in the charts as you see here. But so this is how a chart looks like. And then when it comes in like this, you can go ahead to add what a title of the chart. So if we were to double click in here, you can just go ahead and you put a title here. And then of course you have more options. If you were to come this way, and you click on this plus sign. Now what you find ticked here what is currently being displayed in the chart. you can go ahead and you add more axes. So let's say maybe we wanted an axis for the titles. You see, just as you hover over it, it already appears there. So if I put a tick there, that axis comes in and you can rename it. Then also for data labels, data table, arrows, thread line, and all that. And also you have other, you can change the chart style here. This one is just to change the style. So you can have other styles. As you can see here, it's a whole list. If you were to scroll down, you see more styles which are appearing here. And then of course you can also change the color. And then of course this has to do with the labels. You can also come in here. This shows that all the labels are displayed. So if I was to tick here, you can pick whichever label you want to appear here. And it's also, you can order further customize that to any way you want. We are really going to talk about charts in a more advanced tutorials, but for the basic tutorials, I think what you just have to know is how to select your data. Well, our data here is not really properly formatted. So that is why we can't have it in the chart. Now, let me see if we can use this to bring that out. Again, we select this. Say select this. Hold on down the control, we select this. Come on the insert. Commented. Okay, still the same. Okay, so I think we're going to create a separate video for chat only. Yes, with a more orderly presented information. We can't use this information that we've been working with to bring out a chart. But basically, this is how you come out with a chart. So I think the problem we are having here is because the list is not arranged. Because let's say if we had a set of names here and then numbers here that are properly associated with the names or directly linked, say from 1 to, that's an orderly list, and then you also select the numbers, then you'll be able to see that list here. But now this is in disorder. So because Excel understands that there is no direct flow in the information, that is why you see when we click on the recommended charts, it shows you that what? It shows you that the information we've selected does not really match. So that is why we're having that problem. So, but basically this is just how you bring out your charts. All you need to do is just to select what the information you want to appear. First, you select the name, and then the next thing you select the information which is associated to that. And all you need to do is just to come under recommended charts, or you use any of these charts which you have here. If you don't have the information, if the information is not popping up under the recommended charts, or you are not satisfied with what you see under here, we can't display that now because of this. You can still come under all charts. Then if you know what you are doing, you select the corresponding chart which you want to select, and you can go and create the chart name. Once you've created the chart, you can change the title. You click here. You can further fine tune the chart by using all of these, elements here. Also, you can change the style of the chart. You can change the color, and of course the information which is on the chart too. That's for the values and the names too. Yes, you can also change that. Okay, so I think basically that is just it about is how you insert charts into what? Into Excel. And again, I'm using Microsoft Excel 2016. The way you do this in Excel 27 is still the same. Okay, there is no difference. So I'm not going to be going back there to explain that. It's still the same procedure. Yes, all you need to do is just to select your information, and you know that chart works in two axes, X and Y. So you must have two sets of information here. So either you're selecting this to display with January, or you're selecting display with February, or might depends on how you want the chart to appear. Okay, so basically that is just it with charts. And then the next thing we are going to be looking at is how to autofill in cells in Excel. Now, for us to do that, I'm going to go to a blank sheet. Let me just create another sheet here, and we are going to rename this autofill. Okay. So, autofilling in Excel. How do you autofill cells in Excel? These are sales that we have here. So how autofill works in Excel is, let's say you want to type a list of, say, maybe the days of the week. That's from Monday to Sunday. If I start typing Monday here, yes, of course, you can continue typing Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday until you come to Sunday and all that. But since these are days of the week, you can just pull, click, come here at the end here. And when you see the mouse pointer changes like this, that is at this extreme end here, you just pull down. As you're pulling down, of course, you can see it being displayed there. It's now on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So when I just unclick, you see the list is already populated from what? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and up to this. Now you see it's flowing in here. I've already shown you how you can handle this. All you need to do is just to double click here. You see it is now full in what? The column has now adjusted to fit all the data that we have in here. So that is just how you auto fill. Now, of course, it doesn't only go like this. You can also fill like this. You can still pull this way. If I was to pull, you see it also feels like this, and you can manually adjust this like so to fit like that. Okay, so you see it populates the list like this, and of course you can still pull and you go left like so. Okay, so you see it understands that since you are going this way, it is now from Sunday, Saturday, Friday. Now this is the default way of doing it. If you want to customize this, there is a more advanced way of doing this, which we are not going to be covering in our beginners course, which we are doing now. We'll cover that in the advanced stage. So basically, this is just how you fill autofill sales. Now, it doesn't only work like this. Let's say, I'm just going to go ahead and let's just delete this. If you start typing, say, Mon, okay, Excel still understand that this stands for Monday. That's the short form of Monday. So if I was to pull down like this, you see it still autofills it like that. But and you see it understands that this one, the rest of the following list also have to follow the way you started typing this. So if you were to come down like this, you see this is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, just like that. Again, if I pull to the right, it still populates like that. If I was to pull to the left, it is the same. Of course, the same option appears for pulling what above. And of course, you see it is also the same goes here. If I was to pull above 2, see it keeps populating like that. So, and it doesn't only goes for this. Let's say you were working with the months of the year. If I was to start typing, say January, like that, and I click here and I pull, now you see it populates right up to December, and then it starts from what? January again, and it continues. If I was to go on the right, like so, you see it's the same thing. And again, if I was to go on the left, like so, you see December, November, of course, since you are going from the left. And if I was to go up, same thing, as you can see. Okay, so also, if I was to abbreviate January to say Jan, like that, and I start clicking, and I just pull like this, you see it is still the same. If I was to pull to the right, same thing. Pull to the left, same thing. Up, same. And bottom, same. So that is just how autofill works in Excel. I've just demonstrated this using the days of the week and the months of the year. So now let me demonstrate this using what? Numbers. Now let's say I want to display a set of numbers here. If I was to type 1 and I start pulling, now you notice that just the 1 is appearing because for this, if you want it to appear in increment, you have to like explain, I don't know, you have to make Excel to understand that you want this to appear in increments of what? 1. So for you to do that, you have to type the 1 and then you type 2. Then you select both cells like this. Okay, you select both cells like that. And if I was, now I've selected both cells. You don't select just one, you select the both cells like that. And if I was to pull this down now, you're going to see now, what do we have here now? 1, 2, 3, right up to what? 17. The same thing applies for if, say, you wanted it to appear in increments of, say, 2. So if I was to start typing 2, and then I go to 4, and then I select both cells and I pull down. Now you see this is appearing in increments of what? 2. Okay, this is a very easy way for you to work with your data. Okay, so try to practice with this. The same thing appears. Now let's say applies for, if we want to this to come in an increment of what? Say 1, like so. If I was to select both cells and I pull to the right this way, you see it is still the same thing. But watch what happens when you pull to the left. Of course, it understands that it has to go to 0, and then you get into what? The negative order, as you can see here. Just like, yeah. So, of course, you can also go up. If I was to select both sides and I pull up, you can see it also goes to 0, and then -1, -2, and it continues like that. So the same way appears to what? Numbers and what? But this is specific, okay, because Excel understands just maybe the months of the year, the days of the week, and then deal with any set of numbers as long as you know how to place them. But let's say maybe you have a custom list. Say maybe you're working in your organization and you want to fill in the different departments in such a way that you can customize it. So when you start filling, it can, and you just pull, you find all the departments. Well, actually, this is something that we covered in the advanced stages, but I'm just going to go ahead and I show it here. So for you to be able to do that, you need to come under File, you come to Options. Now, when the option box appears like this, you come under Advanced and you scroll right down until you find this option here, which says what? Edit Custom List. Now, under Edit Custom List, you're going to see this is the default list that comes with Excel, okay? Now, you see the Monday, Tuesday, the abbreviation for what? Mondays to Sunday. And then you see the full Mondays to Sunday. You see January, the abbreviation for this, and then the abbreviation of what? And then the full January to what? December. So you can add your own list here. So I'm just going to demonstrate this by adding and creating a new list, which is what we have here. So I'm just going to type the names of everyone who is present here today. I'm going to start with my name. That is Awa. And then I go to the next, that is Mr. Diodone. So I'm just going to type Tamon. And then there is Karin. So type Karin, like so. And then there is, I think there's a new. There's someone new here today. That is Nyama Maxel, I think. So I'm just going to type Nyama, like so. And then we have Mr. Gandhi. Okay, so this is a new list that we have here. Let's say this can be any list, okay? This can be still be the list of the different departments in the organization. It can be whatever list that you have. But if you have a list that you use very often, you can also get into the habit of coming in here by following the procedure that I've just shown like that. You come in here, you customize that. So if I was to click on OK, let me just come back here. So you see now that we have a new list in here. You see that we have a list in here of the names, okay? So I'm just going to click on OK and I cancel out of there. So now the first name in there was what? Awa. So if I was to start typing what? Awa here, and I pull down now, you see that all those other names are appearing in what? In systematic order, just as we type them. So I'm just going to go ahead and type this here again. If I was to pull to the right, you see they keep appearing. And then when it gets to the last name, it starts back with what? The first name. If I was to pull to the left, you see it starts with the last name, comes back until it gets what? To the first name. If I was to pull up, same thing. Pull down, same thing. So that is how you create your own custom list in Excel. And this can really help you if you find yourself in a situation where you have to, where you have a custom list that you always work with. This can save you a lot of time of always typing, you know, and stuff like that. You just get into your custom list. Again, I'm going to show you how to get there. You come to File, you go to Options, and then you come under the Advanced tab here and you scroll until you get to the last option here, and then you can come under what? Edit Custom List. So this is our list that is here. If you're not satisfied with this list, of course, you can always delete it, or you create another new list and just type in the names here, and when you are done, you click OK. I'm just going to cancel out of there, and then you find the list. So when you start typing, also you're going to have that list in your worksheet. Okay, so the next thing we are going to look at is how to sort data in Excel. I think I'm just going to make a duplicate of this sheet here. I think we can work with this. I'm going to make a duplicate of this sheet, and I'm just going to come over to move or copy, and I say create a copy. I say, okay, now this is a copy that's created. So I'm just going to go ahead and I rename this as sorting data, like that. Okay. Yeah, so that is sorting data as we have there now. We can even change the tab color just to make it look more beautiful. Okay, so now we want to sort this data. Now, and a very easy way of sorting your data is just to select all the data like this. And then you come here. Where is that? Okay, here, where you have sort and filter. If I was to click on the drop down arrow, you can either sort from A to Z. You can sort from what? Z to A. So if I click here, yeah, this data is now sorted from what? A to Z. Let me just cancel out of there. And then I select just this part that we have the country so that you can really see this well, okay? Here, I think we start with the location. Yes, so I'm just gonna copy this and paste this down here. Okay, so this is what we're going to work with. So I'm just going to go ahead and I select this. So you're sorting from A to Z. What does that mean? It means that you want it to appear alphabetically from A to Z. So just using your eyes, of course, you'll see that if we were to sort this list from A to Z, it means Asia is going to come up first. Okay. And then I think maybe followed by Canada, and then you got Europe, then yeah, just like that. But now since you see it's a little bit confusing, so Excel can easily do that to you. You just click this option, say sort this from A to Z. Now you see you got Asia, Canada, Europe, yeah, of course, location too. And then what? The United States. Okay. So the reverse is to sort from what? Z to A. It brings the last at the top, and then also you have this. But there is, well, actually, we were to cover this in the advanced class, but I'm just going to show you a tip of this. There is a custom way of sorting the data, okay? Now, this is sorting this data following just this, because this is what it is. But let's say maybe for some reason, you wanted this data to be sort following, say, what you have appearing here under the, let me just undo this. Okay, say you want this to be sorted following just this January tab, okay, with a specific number. Please don't be confused. If this is a beginner course, I know I'm already going too far, but this is very important. Say you want to sort this data in such a way that it prioritizes this January tab, even though the January tab is found under location, which is really down, but you want it in such a way that it prioritizes just this January tab and maybe this number here, 3.1. Okay. So how do you do that? What you will still do is you select all your data that you want to sort. You come here under filter and sort, and then you come to custom sort. Okay. Now, when you select custom sort, you come to this drop down arrow, which you have here. If I was to click here, now it's going to ask you which column do you want to sort with. You have to be very careful when you choose this. Where is the January tab found? It's found under column B, as you can see here. So we say one column B. Then it's going to ask you, how do you want the data to be sorted? Yes, of course, one is be sorted by cell value. Cell values means it's going to read through all the cells that you have here in column B. Okay. So if say we want is to be sorted from what smallest to largest, so say you want this data in here to be sorted from smallest to largest, so the smallest value is going to come up here, and then the largest value is going to come down here. And of course, if we were to click OK, you are going to see now that the information has been sorted in such a way that the smallest value following the information that we have put in column B has come up, and then you got the largest value, which is down here. Yeah, of course, January is not a value, so it has just checked that out at the bottom here. But you get the point. So that is how you do a custom sort. Now I'm going to demonstrate that by using a different column again. Let me just undo. Okay, and I select just this. We come here under sort and filter, custom sort. Now we want to say sort using May, which is found under column F. So we say go to column F and sort all the values of column F in such a way that instead of saying smallest to largest, now we sort from largest to smallest. Of course, you can still customize this, but we're not going to be looking at that here. So you can also sort from largest to smallest. So it means under column F, which you have here, And remember, you're working only with the data you've selected. So it has nothing to do with this table above or even the location which you have up here. So come under column F and sort me the data from the largest to the smallest. So of course, just using your eyes, you see that the largest value is 4.2. So we should expecting to see that above. And then the smallest, maybe it is 2.2. So if I was to click OK, of course, you see that is what has happened. So the data has been sorted in such a way that you got the 4.2 above, and then you got the 3.1, the 2.9, and of course, the last but not the least, which is what? The 2.2. So that is just how you sort your data in what? In Excel. So if you have, this is just a small list, okay? I'm used to working with very large and massive lists, just too large. So if you get yourself into the habit of working and, knowing how to sort data like this is really going to help you a lot when you have a lot of information or data which you have to work with. And the last but not the least, which we have to look at today is what? How to use filters in Excel. This is very important. How to use filters. Now, in order for you to use filters in Excel, I think I'm just going to go ahead and I create a new sheet again. Let's move for copy, create copy. Okay, but we don't want to call this sorting data again. We're going to rename this as filters. Okay, so this is our filters list. I'm just going to go ahead and I delete this list which we were using for sorting. Okay, now if you were to find yourself in this situation, it's here just deleted. I tap the delete key but you still find the rows here. So for you to get rid of that, you just need to come under here and you select what? No borders. It takes off all the borders. Okay, so now we want to work with filters. Filters is, so for me to do that, I'm going to go ahead and I bring in a new row here. Let's just insert a new row there. Okay, now we have a new row. So the filters option is still found under the sort. As you can see here, it is labeled what? Sort and filters. The first thing you have to do is to select the row which you want the filters to appear in. And it always has to be at the top. Well, it can still be at the side. But for now, for you to really see it clearly, let's put it at the top. So if I was wanted that the filter should appear in say row 3, as you can have up here, then I come here and I select filters. Now you see this key, this pull down buttons have appeared here. Okay, so this is actually what you can use to now filter what your information. This is very important when you are dealing with a large set of data. Filters is very important because it can help you to easily what? Go to a specific part or specific portion as far as the data is concerned. I'm going to demonstrate that. Let's start with this tab. That is column A. So if I was to click here, you see that presently is set to select all, okay? But if I wanted to see just the data that is appearing in, say, Canada, I just deselect this and I check just Canada and I say, okay, now you see just Canada appears here and you can easily see the data that is in Canada. So you can go ahead and you work with this. So if we had Canada in, say, 2 places, you're going to see 2 Canadas appearing here. Let me demonstrate that. I'm just going to copy this cell and I create a new let's insert the copy cells. Okay, good. Now let's go ahead and we sort this again in such a way that just Canada appears. As you can see, now we have 2 Canadas there with the information. So what you've asked the program to do, what you've asked Excel to do is please get rid of everything, not like deleting it. It is still there, but it has just filtered in such a way that just Canada is being displayed. So if you have a very large list of information and you know how to filter very well, and you see that it's going to be very easy for you to be able to work with that information. Again, so of course, when you are done, you can just come and you check all again and you click OK. But an easy way of you to work with this, let's say we're working with just Canada, or let me demonstrate this with Asia. You can always just come back here and you click on clear and it brings all the information back, maybe when you're done with your work and all that. So of course, it doesn't only apply to names. You can also work with numbers. So let me demonstrate that by using this column B. So if I was to click here, and I'm going to say that what I want you to filter me this by showing just this value. So select, showing me show just a cell that contains this. Okay, of course, and it's just it is this row which is Asia, and it has this value of what? 2.6. Now these are in millions. Okay, it might appear small, but just put it like this. So This is 2.6 what million dollars. Of course, let me just clear this back out, and we are back to this cell. Now, sorting, filtering does not only end there. Okay, there are also advanced tools in filter. Okay, like for instance, if you want to filter this, now you come under number filters. You can filter in such a way that, let me select this, say numbers. Say you want that just the numbers that are greater than a certain number. So with this, it's going to open a box and you can type this in manually. So let's say we want everything that is greater than what? Let's say 1 or no, greater than 1. Now this is a little bit advanced, okay? But just follow me. We want to see numbers in here which are greater than what? 1, okay? Okay, let's just end at greater than 1 for now, so we don't get carried away. If I was to click on OK, now, of course, you don't find any value in here which is less than 1. Everything in here is greater than 1. I'm just gonna undo that back. Now, it took out all this because Excel understands that this does not make sense. These are not even numbers, so they don't even have to be in our filtered list. Okay, let's go again. Number filters. Let's go to custom filter. Now we want is greater than, let's put in 2. So everything that is appearing here now is what? Greater than 2, as you can see. Let's go back. To make it a little bit more complicated, custom filters. We want numbers that are greater than 2. Okay. And does not equal 3. Okay. Of course, we don't have any of such values in here. So we go back. So this is just how filtering works. Okay. Yes. If you have your information in here, and you really get to understand this when you're working with large set of data. Presently, our table here is very small. Yes, I believe for those of you who are going to be in the advanced class, I'm really going to be sharing a lot of, that is a well-populated list, very large and massive list, which we can really work with. And of course, in there, you are going to see more advanced techniques of what working with filtering and all that. But I think for now, we've really covered the basics as far as sorting your data and filtering is concerned. Anybody who is just working, who doesn't really have an information, an idea of how sorting and filtering works in Excel, I think for now you can have a little bit of idea of how that works, and you can also work with your own information and filter them and sort them correctly. So I think that is the last point of our class of today. And for our class of tomorrow, which is the last class for this beginner's course, we're going to look at how to round up functions, working with cell references. Now, I brought this in. Actually, we're just going to be looking at the basics of this. You really understand this better if you want to go in depth into this. If you find yourself in our intermediate and advanced courses. So we are going to be looking at how to round up functions in Excel, relative cell references, absolute cell references, relative, absolute, relative, and all that. We're going to cover that tomorrow. So today we've been looking at how to insert charts. We started with that. We saw how you can autofill cells in Excel, how you can add your own autofill, and how you can sort data and also using filters and all that. Okay, so I think this wraps it up our class of today. If there are any questions, you can unmute your mic and ask, or Mr. Jurene, if you have something to add before the questions.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I think we have really gone through. I thought this was really going to be an introductory phase, but I think we have really elaborated on a lot of things, which I think is really going to help a lot of you out there to really understand this Microsoft Excel. Like I said before, Microsoft Excel is a whole software on its own. A lot of companies are still using Microsoft Excel, despite the fact that they have other programs or other software which they are carrying out their activities. So you see what we have actually done during this class. You see, we have used just a little, the data we've used for this activity is very, very small. So imagine if you have to go with a group of data. For example, we have banks, financial institutions that have more than 10,000 or 20,000 clients. So you see the need why they had to bring in a software which can help them be able to summarize. So as you can see, the issue of this sorting, how can sorting really help you? When you are, for example, if you're a teacher and you're preparing maybe the scores and information in regards to your students, that students in a very large crowd, right? When you have a class which is really populated, this sorting is really, really going to help you. For example, you want to know, you want to actually see, because we know when we talk about ranking can actually just give you a specific information. But if you actually want to see the total number of students who actually perform or had this particular score in your course, then this is the best particular item you're supposed to use, this sorting and filter to use. You're supposed to use filter in order to do that, all right? And with sorting just simply means you are trying to adjust your sheet in order, maybe ascending or descending order. So the little thing what I'm going to add here, I think is another way of you doing sorting in a large data like what Mr. Wahilere have just done. I think I'm just going to open my. I know it is what we are supposed to do at advanced stages, but I will just let me just demonstrate that. I think it's the shortcut for you to do sorting with a large data. For example, if you want to sort out information with a specific column, right? So rather than maybe going through the other process, which that's what you are normally supposed to know, and then you know the shortcut keys later, but it is very easy for you if you have to really use this. So once you select your data, rather than me opening a new sheet or maybe sharing my screen, I'll just give you an information. Once you select your data, for example, if Mr. Wahilere selects from location right up to the end, please can you just help me with that? Maybe select from location right down. Not the color. Yes, it's okay. Now, once you select an information like that and you want to maybe sort, let's say May or March, April rather, all right? If you want to sort, say April, what you would do is, if you have to sort that information, normally you start highlighting from Canada, not from location. You highlight from Canada, and then what you do, the next thing you do is you press the tab key, all right? You just press the tab key, and for example, Sarita, just help me with the tab key. Once you're tapping the tab key, you see it is moving, right? Now, if you select your data begin from Canada, you just click on Canada and then you highlight, you forget about the information at the top, right? You just, from Canada, you select everything right down. Yes, so if you take your tab button, you just be pressing your tab right up to maybe say April, all right? Once you reach at April, that's all. You just go to your sorting and everything will be done, all right? So rather than going the other method, which, with times when you're working and you need to move on with speed, I think that's a way which can really help you to move as fast as you can, all right? So it's really, really helpful. And when you are doing your sorting, you should be very, very careful. You should be very, very careful when doing your sorting, because by the time you maybe say you want to sort April and you maybe highlight just April and May, just know that you are going to obstruct your data completely. So when you are sorting, ensure you highlight the whole data and then you press your tab button to take you to that part, because I know that's what will happen when we give assignments here. We are going to give assignments here and we say sort maybe June, all right? Sort the data in June. Let's see maybe the total number of persons who had maybe from 2.1 upward. And then rather than you selecting the whole screen, you just go and select April and you go and do your sorting. By the time you do that, the other information will stay put. Only April will do the sorting, and that's where you're going to face a big problem. And you discover that you have obstructed the whole information. Because at that particular moment, you have taken information that is meant for maybe Europe, and you have taken it to Canada. And once you take it to Canada, you see it just obstruct the whole thing. So you need to be very, very careful when you are doing your calculations, when you are doing your formatting of your text. You should be very, very, especially with Excel. Excel like that, Excel, like you see when you're typing on Excel, Excel does not tell you if this word is correct or wrong, all right? Except you format that cell to accept text. What Excel knows is just figures, right? They are just focused with figures. Once you type in a figure in a particular cell, that's when it starts reacting. Once you put in just a word, a number of words and figures at the same time, it doesn't care what whatsoever you've typed there. All right. So you need to be very, very careful when you are doing your job. So I think everything has really been covered. And I'm hoping that we are going to continue next class with the session. I'm so sorry I've not been able to upload the other videos of the other classes. I was really tied up today, but I'm sure immediately after this class, I'm going to try as much as possible to upload them today. I'm going to upload them today, and maybe we share them in the forum so that those who have missed the classes should try as much as possible to attend the classes. So I think we'll give room for questions. If there are any questions, please, you are free to ask. You are free to ask the questions. Any question? I think if there are no questions, I think we have really we have touched what we are supposed to do for today, Mr. Wahila. So I don't know. Maybe over to you. If there's any other thing you have to say, then we can wrap up with the class.
Okay, no, I think if there are no questions, it means we've understood everything as far as this is concerned. So after the class of tomorrow, there are going to be a series of exercises which you will be expected to do. So if there are no questions, it means you've actually followed up what. Now, the way we give exercises is, yeah, of course, it's going to cover what we do, but also you really have to use your brain. Like you see, when we were working with Word, all the exercises we gave, nobody got it right. Okay, you might think that you were doing the right thing, but the instructions are very important. And in Excel, instructions are way even important in Excel. So you have to be very careful and make sure you get it right. Just like what Mr. Jordan was explaining. Yes, from what we've handled today, sorting and filtering and all that. It might look simple. Yeah, maybe because we're working with a little bit of data here, not something large, but when you are working with a very massive information, you have to be very careful the way you go about this. Of course, this is just the beginner's phase. And if you are to join us in our intermediate and advanced phase, you are going to understand way better as far as all this is concerned. So tomorrow we are going to continue. Tomorrow is the last day for us to round up with Excel. So we are going to continue with the rounding up how to round up functions in Excel, relative, absolute references, or references, and all that, how to handle references. It's also very important in Excel. Actually, we'll cover that in detail in the advanced phases, but we're just going to introduce it here and also just throw more light on it so you can also understand how that works. So if there are no questions, I think we can wrap up here for today, and see you same time tomorrow.
All right. Thank you very much for that, Mr. Wahila. As we are rounding up tomorrow, please, you need to be aware we continue with the next phase of our program, which is Publisher and PowerPoint. Like I said before, Publisher and PowerPoint are graphic design. They are mostly for designs, all right? Publisher, in effect, in itself is a designing program, while PowerPoint is a presentation program. So for those entrepreneurs, those who have that vision of maybe going out there to talk to people about their output, because once you are done with Excel, the next thing is for you to deliver your output. And Publisher helps you to design some of those, maybe your background, which you're going to use for PowerPoint and things like that. So please, let's try as much as possible to attend. And for the graphic designing intermediate class, we are still saying that you should try as much as possible to attend that class, because what you are going to learn there is going to help you a lot in Publisher and PowerPoint. Sometimes when you go to do your presentation, maybe you are doing your defense, you want to defend something, right? At times, what is even going to capture the audience is the presentation, is the way you have presented your PowerPoint. Just the way you present your PowerPoint is going to give you more weight than even maybe presenting. I remember when I was doing my presentation at the master's level, only my PowerPoint presentation, I think it was very, very excellent. It was very, very powerful. And all the animations I did, you understand, and it was really, really interactive. You made them to follow, to work with you in a way which is very, very good. All right, so please try, and those who want to really take to make this, want to become an entrepreneurs with Microsoft, all right, you should try as much as possible to learn these two programs, because that's actually what, especially publisher, is going to really help you in terms of raising funds. It's when you get into the entrepreneurial venture of Microsoft Office. So I wish to thank everyone who was able to make it for this class. We are going to upload the videos subsequently. Though we wanted to always complete a class, a full class like this, maybe we are done with Excel, then we publish. But a lot of people still keep complaining about networks. That's the reason why we are going to publish that, so you can really follow up. And we know those who have actually been consistent in this class, we really appreciate. So we wish you all a blessed night and see you tomorrow. Thank you.